Hello, Aries, and welcome to your intuitive energy update or forecast for the month of March 2020, moving towards your birthday season. I just feel like doing a big sigh as I connect with you, Aries. I'll introduce myself first. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lyle. This is my space here on YouTube and on social media, Facebook and Instagram. I can be found at Wisdom of the Heart, and my website is lisalyle.com. So, with that out of the way, let's just get into the energy that you may be experiencing now, and are certainly going to it's going to touch you during the month of March. And the number one thing I was guided to this morning before I connected with you, Aries, is the fact that Chiron, the planet of the wounded healer or asteroid. I'm not sure if it's a planet or asteroid. The wounded healer is in your sign, and it will be traversing your sign and doing retrogrades in your sign since 2018 actually through to 2027 before it moves on into Taurus. And for you personally, Aries, any of you who are older than who were born between 1969 and 1976 will be experiencing your Chiron return. So Chiron being back at the same point in time, degree as it was at the time of your birth. And this feels particularly important for those of you that fall into that group. I am one of those. And what it is all about, what it's speaking to me about, with Aries being the first sign of the zodiac, this is really now speaking about foundational energy for you moving forward. No longer being affected by the wounds that you were born with and the wounds that you were born into and experienced in this incarnation. It feels like a time of growing up. And, if you're anywhere close to my age, we have the second half of our life ahead of us. And what are you going to do with it? Have your dreams come true? Have you experienced all the joy that you have been meant to experience? Or are you still being triggered by the original wound, the original wound, which stems from your unconscious disconnection from source? Because the truth is we are always eternally connected to source. So for you, Aries, I do feel like as we approach your birthday season, I do feel that there is a bit of a call to clean up your act, if you will. Clean up and clear out the emotional clutter, because it supports liberation. And I do believe it was Pisces yesterday who received this exact card from the Magdalene Oracle. So we're working again with the energy of the Magdalene sisterhood, that sacred order of sisters, which so many of us were a part of, whether we are aware, remember it or not. And so for you, Aries, it's like this really feels like your liberation comes from your willingness to release the wound, your willingness to release the it's kind of, I feel like it's a similar forecast for all the signs, because it feels like a critical turning of the tide, if you will, bringing more light onto this planet. And we bring more light onto the planet simply by shining our own light into the dark spaces within our physical body. Now, Aries is that fixed fire sign, and, sometimes that energy can be quite irrational. And I feel like your liberation doesn't come from irrational reactions and behaviors. Your liberation comes from a peaceful acceptance of your responsibility to heal. I hope that makes sense for you, Aries. That's just what I'm feeling right now. So let's just tune in a little bit here, or completely here, to the energy of the dragons, those mystical, magical beings who, you know, when we were kids, we had this connection with. This is so awesome for you, Aries. Being a fire sign, we've got two which are very much the same energy, and you got the crystal yellow dragon, and I believe someone had this yesterday. I recorded 3 videos yesterday for Pisces, Aquarius, and Capricorn, so somebody did receive this yesterday. And then you also have the golden crested dragon. This is really about reclaiming your personal sovereign power. So this is your peaceful power. This isn't the fire of the undeveloped, the overdeveloped human ego and the underdeveloped soul. This is speaking about an opportunity for you this month, and it's really beautiful that we come in with this golden crested dragon, because 3 always connects me to the Trinity within, the crested light within. And we were all born children of the original source, you know, and we will all return to this place. And as we are incarnated, we are always connected to source. And anytime I connect with the energy of Christ, and in this timeline, we think of Christ as Jesus. We know Christ's name is Jesus. And, you know, Jesus truly is a brother of ours, a brother of light. And the biggest blessing that he left, his legacy of light, is that we are each the Christed child incarnate. And this is a part of the reason why the celebration of his birth, although it didn't happen at the Christ Mass, Christmas, it's celebrated at that time, because that is also the time of the solstice. And it's that return of the sun. You know, we are each the sun. And, you know, that we are asked at this time, I feel more and more of us are being called at this time to really harness that solar energy. And not the fire so that people are getting burned or we're getting burned by it. That solar energy within, that soul drive that supports this liberation to just be comfortable in our skin, and to give ourselves the permission to be our beautiful, unique expression of source. And, you know, to shine our light. This for you, Aries, this month really feels like a lot of solar plexus chakra activity and activation. And it's like, how are you going to, because the solar plexus is the home of the ego, right? It's the home of free will choices. And these are important. We do, in human form, we do have free will, and there are choices to make. And it's really about coming into that place peacefully and not egoically imposing our will through aggression, domination upon others. This is about understanding that each soul is a unique expression of the same source, the original source. And so coming to that peaceful place where you are in your power, and you by being in your peaceful power, you give those around you, you give the world basically permission to be the same where they are. The crystal yellow dragon says opens you to higher learning and wisdom. So here's an opportunity for some expansion for you, Aries, as you approach your birthday season, your rebirth season. This is an opportunity to open up. And oftentimes, in order to open up, we must release what is down below. We must release the density of the shadow. It says expand your crown chakra for illumination. Walk the higher spiritual path. So for those of you who are around my vintage, born somewhere between 1969 and 1976, this is the opportunity for you to live the next half of your life, embracing all of you and having that full-on magical experience where dragons and fairies exist and coexist, right? Just like we do with the natural world, although many humans are very disconnected from it and do not feel any way about destroying nature and, our planetary home. Others of us feel very connected to it. And we know this is our planetary home, and we know it is our responsibility here and now to be that seed of heaven on earth, be that seed of light, open it up here. Don't wait for the next go round now, because we're elevating. We want to elevate our soul through each incarnation, through each human experience. The golden Christed dragon says, brings you higher love so that you embody the Christ light. This is about you returning to your sovereign power. Sovereignty. What is sovereignty? It's when we know we are divinity, when we know we are worthy and deserving human souls. And as such, so is every other human soul. No one, it's only man that has put, one ahead, above, below, behind, in front of another. Because in the big scheme of things on this spiral, we are all, or within the circle, we are all within the circle. We are all traveling along that spiral. It's not a box where you put these people here and some people here. We are the Christed children incarnate. And sovereignty is about restoring our personal power, being self-governed via the heart, which is eternally connected to source. And so I feel for you, Aries, a lot of this month is about remembering who you really are. And you're not above or below anyone. Regardless of whether you think that or not, or someone's told you that or not, it's absolute lunacy. Which brings me to the energy of this Virgo full moon that we're going to be having on the 9th and 10th of March. And then we have the solstice, the 20th and 21st of the equinox, the 20th and 21st, which is birthing into your season. And I feel like this full moon in Virgo, because Virgo wants to get serious about things. Virgo is this nurturing nature, this nurturing energy, this hermit energy, which really, takes responsibility for the personal path and what we bring to the collective experience. So your inner dialogue, your inner landscape is really important, first of all, for your personal evolution, your soul's evolution, the eternal evolution in the temporary human form. That your landscape really dictates your experience. And so are you going to continue to hold on, to resist, to hold back, to be aggressive, to be, imposing your will on others? Or are you going to take responsibility for your experience, how you feel, and, make some changes, come back in to your physical body, come back into your personal experience. And for some of you, this is going to be deeply healing. For some of you, the healing, where solar plexus here, below the heart, healing starts below the heart. Especially when we are when we're receiving all of this support from the spiritual realms, we have to really welcome that into our experience. We have to really recognize that we are a soul in body, that we are here having a spiritual experience, and that is a part of the remembering. This is what I feel like, throughout the 20s, this decade of the 20s, much of humanity is going to really remember what many of us have known for a long time. We are a soul in body, and we came here to have a healing experience, to free our soul, so that we each, with confidence, share our Christed light, share our gifts, which flow from source. Our gifts aren't, they're not a bad thing. Our intuition is not a bad thing. It's great. It's great when, and someone else got this yesterday too. This is the chakra. This is, again, solar plexus chakra. Are you living joyfully? Do you see, even on a cloudy day, can you see the sunshine? Can you feel it? Because the sun is within your solar plexus chakra. This is the energy of this space. And the sun is this great big fireball, right? This great big star that burns so bright in our sky. It warms us. It gives us light. This, your inner child wants to come out and play. Stop being so damn serious, Aries. And many Aries, because of that fixed fire energy, are very serious. They take everything so serious. Life is not meant to be so serious. And it's not meant to be so, you weren't born to be oppressed. You were born free. And if you don't feel like you were born free, you were born into this lifetime 100% to break free. You were born into this lifetime to break free. So it's up to you to do it. And how do you do that? Through playfulness, lightheartedness, innocence, and wonder. Life is magical. Don't take yourself in this life so serious, because before you know it, it's going to be gone. And then you're going to sit through float through your life review. How are you going to feel when you look back at your life, and were you true to you? This card says inner child. Let your inner child lead the way. Look at this, jumping to freedom. We're in a leap year. This video is going to go live on the 29th, the leap year. And, this is an extra day. This is an extra day to be good to you, to make that shift. This is an 18. The card number here is an 18. So I see 9. This is a completion, truly. This is like jumping into the new. And this is everything that's coming up for you now in March is really to support your rebirth, to support your new trip around the sun. And I feel like a big part of the message for you as we come to your season of rebirth is to make the next trip around the sun that you take the most joyful one yet, the most playful and lighthearted experience yet. Where it's like you're seeing the world through new eyes, this childlike sense of wonder. Trust the purity of your heart. And maybe you don't feel the purity of your heart. Maybe you're still sitting in the energies of, and what I'm hearing and feeling, it's like stuff that was passed down, stuff that was handed down from the generations. So with that being said, we're going to connect with the energy of loved ones in spirit and our ancestors for you now, Aries, to see what messages they bring to support you at this time, because they do want to see your rise. Yes. And you get offerings, and the message here is wealth. And it really feels like this attitude of gratitude, like bringing your heart to each and every day of your life, and creating space in your life where you give thanks. And whether that's before a meal or before you drink a glass of water or whatever it may be, I'm really feeling creating an altar. And I'm also feeling like offerings to the earth, like to reestablish your connection, because you're deeply connected. If you're in human form and you're here on the earth, you are incredibly connected and supported by Mother Earth. And yet this is about remembering that connection. And offering really feels to me like this honoring of your connections and expressing gratitude for your experiences and the abundance of experiences you've had. And as you express gratitude for even the abundance of dense experiences you've had, then you can release and let go of the past and move joyfully, leap joyfully into what is here for you now. Because there is a wealth of abundance. And that's not at all monetary when I'm saying that. That's a part of abundance. What I'm really feeling, this is an abundance of, joy, an abundance of love in your life, an abundance of light, an abundance of freedom. And that all comes from your willingness to, dive deep into the depth of your emotions. And if you are one of these energies that is quite aggressive and domineering and easy to anger, underneath that is pain. Underneath that is pain. And what do we have underneath the solar plexus? We have the sacral and the root chakras, the emotional center and the foundational center, right? So if our foundations and emotions are cluttered, or if our foundations are shaky or were in the early years of our life, birth to 7, and then 7 to 14 for the sacral chakra, if, depending on what was going on at that time and depending how willing you have been to look at that and to process that and deal with it, not just move on and sweep it under the rug or, throw the bones in the closet. So it just, it can only decompose so much, and decomposing is stinky, right? So let's clear that out. Let's clear that out. So, and do so with gratitude, and do so with a trust. And that's too many. Oh no, that's 2 cards. I guess they're yours. To do so with a trust. That's 3 cards, but I guess they're yours. Oh yes. Okay. Do so with trust that as we release and let go, we create more space within our experience for playfulness and fun and joy, right? And co-creation. So working with the animal spirit, the wild unknown animal spirit, here are the cards that you've received. And you received 3 of them, and you saw that they fell out together. Sea serpent, this was also up there for Pisces yesterday. Bat, and the unicorn. And what I'm feeling with all of these actually together, the sea serpent is really representative of the emotional body, that sacral chakra, stored emotions. And sea serpent speaks about becoming a safe space, creating a safe space within your life, your physical body, your home life, the spaces you really bring light to, is creating a safe and nurturing space so that you can process emotions that perhaps you haven't had a look at in a long time. Perhaps you haven't associated the fact that you feel anger or you feel disconnected or whatever because you've been unwilling to process emotions as, time has gone by. And the further we get away from our emotional body, the more challenging it can be to take a look at it and to feel it. And so we can get stuck in, addiction and instant gratification coming from outside of ourselves, trying to make ourselves feel good. Yet at the end of the day, still always this underlying sort of queasy feeling. So it is truly time for you to face your emotions and to heal your shit, clear your shit, so that you can experience joy and love, because that's what you came for. And this bat really speaks about, bat is speaking to me that bat is coming to you to support you in diving deep into your emotions, to support you in getting to the root, the emotional root of the matter, so that you can rise. Don't be afraid of your shadow. Don't be afraid of your emotions. It's actually a really beautiful aspect, and it's actually the most beautiful aspect of the healing journey, is a willingness for the divine human to face their shadow, to face their perceived dark head on, 12-12, flying into it, and being guided, because I'm hearing, bats work by sonar, right? Like the dolphins and the whales, this sonar system, so that for hearing. And they're direct. I'm feeling like, let your heart guide you. Let your heart be your sonar system. Let your heart take you to the depths of your emotions and bring everything up through the heart. So it's released through the heart. Release everything with love. And so you can reconnect with the magic that life is all about, because you are highly intuitive. You are highly psychic. You do have an inner eye, although it may be blocked and cluttered and calcified. There is an inner eye. And this speaks about, it's not your imagination. What I'm feeling is like, it's almost as if your imagination and how good life could have, would have, or should have been, and it can't be now. It's not true. Get back to that childlike sense of wonder. Let that inner child guide you, because your inner child will also be there to guide you through the pain. And all the inner child asks of you is to be there for him, or to be there for her, to be there for that child, to, offer that child safety and security. And, it's really time for so many to move beyond, what happened back there, and to now take responsibility for what is right here, because many of us are adults now. Yes, we still have that inner child, and for some it's still the wounded inner child. That inner child, though, really wants to lead you toward play, wants to lead you toward fun. Back when, you lived in the magical world of your imagination, where dragons and unicorns existed. Right? So I am reading the guidebook messages for the animal ones. And so I do know, because we had Sea Serpent yesterday, it comes from the spirit aspect of the deck. And it speaks about healing emotional wounds, expressing desires. The Sea Serpent represents the energy of expression, whether it's emotions, creativity, sensuality, or desire. The Sea Serpent helps us move and direct our energy into a healthy current. When the essence of this card is in balance, we express ourselves creatively and sexually without fear or shame. And so what happens when the lower chakras are clogged, the sacral and root chakra, there's often guilt and shame attached to it, because when there's clogged emotions and unstable foundations in these areas in our body, it's often representative of interference sexually early in life. And, we don't have to go into all the gory details of that. We just need to be willing to do our part to clear it. We can't change it, obviously. We can heal it, though. So this is what I'm really feeling guided to say. And when we have been interfered with through those lower two chakras, the root and the sacral chakra, it does create this energy of guilt and shame, right? Because I'm not going to go into it in this video. Perhaps that's another video for another day, how we are impacted by early childhood interference, especially through the root and sacral chakra. And it's a heavy energy, and it's really time to release and let that go. We know what we desire most. Our hearts are at ease and our relationships are meaningful and enduring. We loosen the grip of self-judgment, and we let the cool waters of forgiveness in to heal our wounds. When the energy of the Sea Serpent is not yet activated, our emotions and creativity are left in the muddy waters. The current of expression stagnates in some areas of our lives, and in other places it floods. It's important to remember, no matter what the waters of our emotional lives look like, the Sea Serpent loves us just the same. Like a mother, she wraps herself around us in a gesture of protection. She supports us as we learn to express our true natures. And this is speaking about the mother within you, now stepping forward to that child. and embracing that child and supporting that child and releasing, particularly releasing feelings of not being loved, not being good enough. So then we have bat, and this is going to be air energy. And of course, I've gone past it. There we go. Bat, darkness, letting go, death leading to rebirth. Before emerging, the bat waits for the sun to set and the moon to rise. In the darkness, it can see all that was invisible in the daylight hours. The bat is a master of the subtle senses, of the underlying forces that cause some things to prosper and others to fade. The bat card shows up to signify the ending of a chapter, the closing of a door. The bat comes swiftly, encouraging us to move on. In just a few hours, a new day dawns, no more lingering in the past. It doesn't really get much clearer than that. So if you're not living in this playful, joyful experience now, it's time to do that deep dive, to just go right in, just jump in. Don't dip your toe in the waters, just jump in. It's go time. Because then the unicorn, who I believe is also spirit, from the spirit aspect of the deck, comes in to say, reconnecting to the higher wisdom or divinity. So remembering who you are, Aries, remembering who you are at your essence, not your physical nature, not your name, not your status, not your race or your gender or your socioeconomic status, who you truly are at the core. It's difficult to see, hear, or think of a unicorn without immediately questioning if it's real. Did they ever exist? Perhaps long, long ago. The mind answers maybe, or it could be, or no way. This very contemplation explains our relationship with divinity and encapsulates our wavering belief in the unicorn. We wonder what divinity is. We wonder where our intuition comes from and if we can really trust it. Yes, you can. We think about the higher power and our mind hesitates between yes, no, and maybe. Is it male or female? Does it have a name? Is it just a feeling? The unicorn card appears and wakes us up to curiosity about the higher self and the divine. It is a card of questioning, exploring, and contemplating the inexplicable. The mind's eye knows there is something beyond our day-to-day lives, a deeper dimension to our experiences. The mind's eye reaches and reaches out to grasp something more. You are the unicorn, and you have begun your quest for answers. So it says here about the unicorn and the sixth chakra, the third eye. It's no surprise the subtle essence of the unicorn card resides at the third eye, the exact place from which the unicorn's horn extends. This center is called the Ajna chakra, or command center. The ancient yogis believed it to be responsible for our intellect, intuition, and deepest wisdom. Some say our two eyes see past and present, while the third eye peers into the future. And I would say that the human eyes, just the human eyes, see the past and the future. And the third eye helps us stay present in the now, in the present, to be here now, centered in our experience and actively taking part in our experience. Whew, Aries, 1221, how perfect is that? That is so perfect. So that was a biggie. I wish you a very happy March. I trust these messages resonate with and support you in any now moment you are connecting with them. And remember, spirit messages are not limited by time and space. So whenever you're connecting with them, I trust there will be some nuggets of support here for you. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the little notification bell. I have plans for a giveaway when we reach 1,000 subscribers, and with your help, we can do it. So thank you so much for being here, Aries. I wish you a blessed, expansive month of March, and I hope you start to feel the mounting excitement for the season of your rebirth. I see you, I feel you, I love you. Thank you.